Hey everybody, we're going to do something new today, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt. I want to start off today by thanking my first 100 subscribers for all the comments and all the love. I do appreciate it. It keeps me moving forward. And if you do find this video informative and you aren't subscribed, maybe thinking about dropping me a like and a sub. I appreciate it. All right, on to today's topic. It's going to be about presets and why you shouldn't be wasting your money on other people's presets. I know I'm not making any friends here, but I would rather tell you the truth and have you know a little bit about how to build your own preset rather than wasting hard-earned money when you can do it for free. All right, so we're going to go ahead and switch on over here. This is Grand Haven Lighthouse. I took this a while ago. As you can see, it's super overexposed. What happened here was I got to talking with another photographer. I lost track of where I was in my camera. I definitely didn't know where my settings were. And I started shooting photos and didn't notice until I got home. But hey, I'm at a 1600 ISO. That is a lot for when you're shooting directly into the sun. I don't know if you knew that or not. But we're going to see if we can correct this today. And then we're going to make it a preset. And just in case you ever overexpose a shot, bam, you'll have a preset for it. All right, here we go. All right, so step number one, I definitely want to bring down the exposure. Pay attention to my histogram right here. All right, so I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Definitely want to flatten it out, but you don't want to go too far into the black. So I'm probably going to be sitting probably right about there. You can still see some of the blue in the sky. You know, nothing is really overexposed. If you look far off to the end, you can definitely see the clouds. Everything kind of looks okay-ish. So I want to add a little bit of contrast to the mix. And you always want to pay attention to your histogram, because your histogram is going to tell you everything, you know, everything that you want. Basically, where you're spreading out the colors, if you're spreading them too thin, if they're max to the right or max to the left. You know, left is going to be your darks, obviously right, you know, you're right. So, all right, let's pull the highlights back a little bit. Yeah, mind you, like I said, this one was way overexposed. So what I'm trying to do is not fry the image. I know, look at that. That is, oh, there's so much noise in this image. I should be able to clean it up. I don't see why not. It's just going to have to be, yeah, you're going to have to make delicate, you know, delicate adjustments. But as I fly off the handle and make huge adjustments, right? I definitely don't want to lose a lot of texture up front, but you might have to, considering that there is a lot of noise in the picture because I had a high ISO. I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it at this point. So you kind of have to work with what you got, as they say, you know. Alrighty here. There's one thing that I do not want in this photo, and that is whites. I would like to keep those to the absolute minimum. It's just the way I edit my photos. You don't necessarily have to do it in the preset, but you know, it is what it is. A thing that I like to do, and I actually learned this from a photographer. Oh God, I cannot remember his name at this point, and I kind of feel foolish. But I love it, and I've stuck with it ever since. Is I bump the clarity down. I don't shoot it up. Yes, you know, clarity seems like one of those things where you would want to shoot it way up, but it couldn't be further from the truth. It looks overprocessed. It doesn't look natural. And that's, once again, that's how I feel about it. You may feel completely different. I'm just trying to help you out. But what I do is I take the clarity and kind of pull it down just a little bit. That way I'm not losing texture. Oh, look at all that noise. I'm not losing a lot of texture. but it's still, it gives it this like really ethereal feel. Like it's really dreamy and it's kind of cool. And I like that. And you know, it kind of works for these shots, especially with big water. It just feels kind of like the world is at your doorstep. And that's kind of cool to me. All right. One thing I always do, saturation. I pull that way down. Too many times I have seen oversaturated photos, and I don't know if it's a calibration issue with the screens, or you know, if people just go that way because they love color. I love color too, but too much of it can be a bad thing. Saturation kind of mutes the whole photo, and then you take vibrance and kind of push it up just a little bit, and it'll really give you enough texture. You're good to go. You don't really need anything more than that. I mean, especially if you're working with oranges and blue, and everybody loves to work with oranges and blue. I mean, who's lying here? Come on. All right. Down to the tone curve. Now, there's something that I like to do in the tone curve, and I know a lot of people do. I like to flatten blacks. I love to flatten blacks. I think it's kind of cool. It gives it, to me, it just gives it like an older feel, but it's just how I perceive the photo. So I always take my blacks up to, not to where they're completely highlighted, but just like to that grayish black, almost like where you brought the shadows completely up, but it's just not that. And then boop. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring this down a little bit and bring a small S curve into this situation. S curves, everybody uses them. If you need to be, I guess, if you need any information on that, leave me a comment below and I'll go ahead and make a video about it. There are tons of videos on it already. Honestly, YouTube it, send it somewhere else. All right, now on to the HSL. Now the HSL is specific to color. It's not like calibration, which we're going to come across in the end of this. It is actually specific to the color in your photo, and the calibration is your overall red, blue, and green in the photo, if that makes sense. All right, so we're going to dip into this real quick. I definitely like to flip it back and forth, see what I'm affecting, I guess. And it kind of lets me judge on really where I want to put things. There's a lot of humming going on right now, and I do apologize for that. I tend to think it kind of it mutes me almost. It's kind of funny because I'm such a talker normally, but like when I think, my mouth shuts off. I bet my life that my wife loves that. Back to the show. See that? You gotta watch for that too. Watch if I pull it all the way back. See all of this? This is terrible. You're basically burning the photo. So let's see. Pull that up. See? It's a lot better now. It gives it more of an organic transition, if that makes sense. All right. Not a lot of greens in the photo, so probably going to leave that alone. It stays right in here, but it blends nicely. Definitely some aqua. Well, let's see what we got. There we go. So I'll pull that back. Actually, I really don't want to mess with that either. Really don't want to mess with that. And that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to throw a little saturation in the blue on it. Yeah, we're going to leave the hue right where it is. You can go into color grading. Color grading is basically just coloring the certain aspects of the photo, the mids, the shadows, and the highlights. Right now, I'm not going to go into that. That is more of a fine-tuned thing. I am going to go on to, let's see, lens correction. Bloop, bloop. That will pick, whatever lens that you shot this with. In my case, this was back when I was shooting with my Nikon and my 18-40. Hey, my 18-40 is on my camera right now, filming me. On to transform. Transforming, this just depends on, if your picture is on level. To me, this looks like a pretty level horizon. It's pretty easy to get a level horizon when you're shooting big water. So, all right, now on to the calibration. So when you're in this, you really want to be careful because it controls the red, the blue, and the green for your entire photo. It's not like the HSL pattern, the HSL panel, it isn't specific. This is the entire photo. So what I like to do, again, lower saturation. All right. You can mess with the hue, obviously. In mine, I know where all my colors are already. If you pull it back, I like that kind of warm feeling. I do want to end up taking all the blue out of it, or at least some of the blue, kind of raising up that orange. See how it raises it up you see how it flips and it flops? See, it raises up that orange and it really brings out the reds. You can kick it back or you can kick it up, either way. But honestly, that's about how I like it. And then from there, you're pretty much done. I mean, it's kind of final adjustment sort of situation. I would go back in, maybe darken it just a little bit, go into my tone curve one more time, maybe bring the blacks down just a little bit more, giving it that kind of shadow appearance, because I blew out the picture, not you, but maybe you did, who knows. But I definitely blew out this picture. So I'd say for what it looks like now, we were able to save it, which is really good and always the reason you should shoot raw. Last but not least, the details panel. So what we're going to do now is we're going to push a little bit into the image. You don't want to overdo it because you already overdid it with the ISO and the noise is already there and there's nothing you can do about it. So we'll pull some stuff back, add a little noise reduction, see how it comes out. A trick to this is basically just zoom in and watch for artifacts. So you can see the artifacts coming. So right before they get there, I leave it right there. Actually, hold on. I'm going to bring it down to 59. As a radius, what I always do... Ooh, thunderstorm. As a radius, what I always do is I will focus on a line, a straight line, a defined line. And I will go whoop, 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 back and forth. And I usually end up somewhere around 1.9 or 1.7. It really doesn't change too much, but you definitely don't want to overdo it. This is not a situation where you want to overdo things. And then your details, it's the same thing as your sharpening. You want to see a little bit of aberration, and then you want to kind of pull it back. I never go over, honestly, 40. I really never do. I don't really push that much into it. I know a lot of people will hold alt while they do that. I don't. I do like to see the color. I do like to see it fade. I'm more of a blender than anything else, I would say. So for noise reduction, I just steady watch for a solid blend. As soon as pretty much all of those abnormalities go away, you can kind of zoom out and then that looks like a solid photo. What I do for masking is I will hold Alt and I come all the way down to define lines, basically. I don't want all of that going into places that it doesn't need to be. And there's that. So we went from that to that. That to that. That to that. It's not bad if you ask me. All right, what we are going to do now is we are going to come over to the left side of your screen and see all these presets right here. It's easy as pie. So then you take all of your adjustments that you just made and then you turn it into a preset. And then you use that for certain similar circumstances. Certain similar circumstances. Say that 10 times fast, right? All right, so we're gonna go up here and bam, create a preset. All right, and then leave everything checked that you basically messed with inside of the panels. And then create, and then voila, it's created. So when you do mess up again, you won't have to worry, because basically you can just boop, reset the photo, and guess what? Bam, you're right there, good to go. I hope you guys learned something today. Again, if you did, like, subscribe. I appreciate you. Lets me know that I get to keep on going. All right, take it easy, guys.